Hey guys, Pete here, HVAC Greatness. I've been under the weather. I'll let you know right now, I'll cough during this entire recording. But I will turn my head, I promise you. I don't want to give you something that I've got. This thing's been coming up on 2 weeks, just dragging. But the hard part is the non-stop cough. It's kind of hard to do what I do, you know. So let's do a ride along. Let's talk about some stuff. Let's get those juices flowing. You're out there changing your world. You know, you should be proud of yourself. You've made that step. You don't work for somebody else. You work for yourself. You're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. Or you're somewhere in that transition. You know the difference between an employee, somebody who's self-employed, and a business owner? Responsibility. You know, when you work for somebody else, you are responsible to your boss. When you're self-employed, you're not responsible to anybody. You want to take off, you take off. But once you have a business, now you're responsible to that business. You have employees, you have accountability in place. So the pendulum comes back, unfortunately. But those few years where you're out there running around and enjoying the freedom, that's kind of fun too. But being the owner of your own business really allows you to shape that to a great deal, to the extent that you break the mold. You know, we've got a lot of examples out there. There's all these different business groups that you can study under. I'm not going to drop any names, but you've heard of them. Can I tell you something? Can I share something with you? It's all the same stuff. It's all the same stuff. I've been following this stuff because it's funny. I was listening to a business owner. He's not that young. Carry on about how, you know, the old school stuff that I grew up doing and how things have changed and everything else. And listen to him just ramble off, literally word for word, the same stuff that I heard 25 years ago, 30 years ago, sitting in seminars, learning from gurus. There's nothing new under the sun, guys. There's nothing new under the sun. What we do have is more information. We've got a lot more information, and we've got a lot more insights on how people work. And when you start to understand this stuff, there's 3 key elements that come together. Number one is you, the business owner, how you're wired, and the growth that you have to go through in order to be successful as a business owner, because the world is not going to change and adjust to you. And I'm not saying that you need to change and adjust completely to the world, but we're all wired a little differently, and we're all wrapped under different pressures and based on different experiences. So what this means is you have a natural wiring, if you will, or programming that's just who you are. And when you attempt to step into this role of business owner, and try to be something that you're not, it's temporary, and it's short-lived. And when you interact with customers and they're wired their way, now you're the expert. They know that, you know that. You go through your process and hopefully have a good process, and let's say you're offering, I don't know, replacement of their home comfort system. You've asked all the right questions. You've assessed the situation, the structure. You know the right size system that it's going to take to properly heat and cool the structure. You've assessed the customer's personal preferences or conditions like health issues, airflow balance issues, humidity issues, whatever the situation is, and so you come up with this really well thought out solution. And what does the customer do? They choose something else. That you just explained it perfectly to them. This is exactly what you need. Here's why, and here's how it works. And you appeal to their logic, and they buy either the system that you don't want them to have because you know it's not right for them, or they buy from your competition and you had the better offer. You had the better system. And you know you did. And that's part of the way that they are wired. That's part of their programming. And when you start to understand this, you learn that you can navigate those waters. You learn that you can influence other people once you get this, so that they make a choice that makes better sense. And then next comes your employees. Your technician says, I want to make more money. Give me the hours. It's time for me to go out and acquire all these things that I should have been acquiring all these years in life. And you start sending a little bit of work their way, and now they're making every excuse they can not to work overtime. They want to go home because they have this happening, they have that happening, and there's an inconsistency there. And so that's why they don't have anything now. That's why the employees are stuck now, because they are working against themselves, because what they desire and how they're hardwired are incompatible. I don't know if this makes sense. I hope it does, because the same is true with you. What you desire out of your business and what you're going to get are two different things, because you're wired differently than those example training programs of the ideal business that needs to be done this way, and so on and so forth. So what do you do about that? What do you do about that? Well, you do a little work, that's all. Did you know that just like you can develop your troubleshooting skills, just like you can go learn how to do a true load calculation and true air distribution training and all the things that once upon a time you didn't know, and now you do know, and now you're really good at it. That's all part of the evolution that we all go through. And what we have come to understand is this: we don't have our stuff together nearly as good as we think we do. And there are areas of required development as a growing professional, as a growing human being, that we're just now becoming aware of. And so if you were to become aware of this, maybe you've seen the tip of the iceberg that's out there in the form of positive mindset, the attitude of the winner, the mindset of the millionaire, learning affirmations, doing exercises in gratitude, maybe meditation. The reason that that's the new buzz, and it's not so new, is because it's for real. It works. It's needed. You see, you need to develop certain parts mentally if you're going to grow, if you're going to go to the next level. There are mental exercises. There are things called visualization, mindless meditation, gratitude enhancement, decision matrix, rituals, affirmations, and so on and so forth. And so, consider this. What would happen if you realize I have established this goal for myself, for my business, for my family. This is where I want to be. And then I realize what it requires in order to deliver this. And I start to discover that there's some things out of alignment. Because I'll get up in the morning and I want to go tackle the world and do these things. And I have a really good day, and then the next day I don't have such a good day, and now I don't know, I'm just not feeling it today. I'll do that stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow's a better day. So the ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how your emotional state is today, after all the inspiration is gone and the heat of the moment is past, but you still get up every morning and you do what you got to do, deliver something called consistency. Consistency delivers results. And if you are consistently in conflict internally, you'll continue to strive for one thing, but you're going to get something different. This is why everybody knows that guy that everything he touched turns to gold. He's got the golden touch. Yet you and I get out there and we struggle, and it just doesn't happen for us. Customers just don't respond, and we just can't attract the right employees, or we just can't seem to manage all this chaos. And it really boils down to inconsistency. You can't be something you're not. And so when I started working on the X Factor, the HVAC X Factor, if you're familiar with that, that's a product that I've developed. I realized this is really, really important. Because if we can take you and really clarify where you are, I mean really clarify. If I ask you the questions, you'll give me the same answers everybody else does. What's your goal, and what's your goal for your business? What's your goal for your business? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now? And the answers are generally almost all the same. Well, I'll be doing about $10 million in revenues, and I'll have this many employees. And I mean, that's because the reason that we answer in that way is because we don't know what our goals are. We don't have any real goals. Well, what was your goal adjustment for 2022? Well, I'm going to grow my business by $1.2 million. Again, how did you get to that number? And this just indicates that we're not actually thinking for ourselves. We're regurgitating what we've heard others say, and And ultimately, yeah, you do have to transition these goals or transform them over into something that's measurable like money. But what do you really want? Where do you really want to be? What's your real goal? What's your passion? Why are you doing this? I mean, we all love heating and air, but do we really want to sacrifice our entire life to continue this struggle? Most of the people that are my age that I interact with, they're so far gone. They're so far gone. You get people they've been doing this stuff their entire adult life. Their bodies are just worn out. And every time you bring up a potential mental challenge where we challenge the status quo, the answer is typically about the same. Oh, I tried that. That didn't work. People around here don't do that. All I need is more customers. All I need is better advertising. I just need to figure out the Google algorithm. I just need to figure out Facebook, how to get that steady stream of customers. I just need this, I just need that. And, if you know everything, I think we all have an idea, don't get me wrong. But if you already know everything, your cup's full, you can't take any more. So even if the truth comes and slaps you across the face, you're not going to recognize it. So this comes back to where I departed from. You must go through the work. And I don't care how far down the path you are. I don't care how many years you've been in business. You need to go back and redo it. I work with people who have decided years later to just totally rebrand. Change their name, change their brand, change their image, change everything. And they have their reason for doing it. And the big reason was they were able to step out from amongst the trees, look at it from a distance and see the woods. They're able to see things from a better perspective, an advantageous vantage point. And they can see that they're self-sabotaging and they don't even know it. The harder they work, the harder they push, the more frustrated they become because they can see that it should work, but it's not working. And again, it's not their fault, but it is their fault. It's not intentional, but it is internal, and it is happening over and over and over again. So when you are ready and you really want to get your house in order, you're going to have to put yourself through the work. You're going to have to go back, go through a process, get your head on straight, find and isolate your incongruent belief systems. Incongruent in that they don't align with your goals. And you're going to have to address them. You're going to have to do the work. And this is a lot more than just sitting around listening to motivational tapes. It's a lot more than just getting up every morning and doing some type of a meditation. It's not that hard. It just requires the consistency. But here's the cool thing. If you do this, when you do this, it will change your life. It will change your life It will change your business. It will change your relationships with your customers. It will change the type of people that you attract. It will change the way that you're perceived. It will change your bank account. It'll change your life. I mean, how is it possible to do things in such a way that you literally have more time outside of work than you ever did? You literally have more cash flow within your business than you ever did. And you literally spend less money for advertising than ever before. Is it luck? Is it the law of attraction? What's making this thing come together? And it feels woo-woo. It feels like it's some type of manifestation on a spiritual plane. And maybe it is, but ultimately, there's a scientific reason that you get improved results when you do things in the well thought out, properly designed, reverse engineered way that's just as dependable as the crappy results you're getting right now by going by your gut, by being reactive instead of proactive, by doing what you feel like's the right thing to do, only to have it come back and bite you on the rear. You know those. You do the right thing, and you think you do the right thing, and it just comes back and bites you. There's a reason. There's a reason. So just keep in mind, the mental part of this is huge, and you can conquer this. You are special, or you would not have stepped out there and taken the leap of faith that you've taken. And what I would like to see, I would like to see you, I would like to see representatives across the country to get this. I'd love to see you get this. I'd love to see you get it so well that you build something in your community that doesn't exist right now. You know what it's like? I'm sure you do on a small scale. You know what it's like to have customers that just literally adore you? They just trust you emphatically. They just, anything that you say, they're hanging on every word, as opposed to looking at you like you're trying to rip them off, or you're that company that was on the 6 o'clock news sting for shady contractors or something to that effect. You know what it's like to have true trust, genuine connection? I do. I remember. I grew up in a different time. The trust has been taken away. It's being abused. And if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Be the solution. Come in, do the work, establish a true power identity within your marketing. It's built on something genuine. It's built on who you are. Create a unique marketing position that allows you to stand out. Understand what emotional triggers are and how to market emotionally. I'm not talking about advertising, running the darn stupid specials everybody else does. I'm talking about something that's powerful that attracts a different type of customer. You don't want them all. Trust me, you don't want them all. And then, of course, you have to have a well-designed customer experience. And you can do it. You put all this together. It starts with you. It's built on your values, your beliefs. A little bit of tweaking as you do the work. the exercises that you do every morning creates that consistency that you need, and before you know it, you have something pretty darn awesome. We all need a peer group. When all your guys come to you, and if you don't have any employees yet, wait on this one. Everybody comes to you, boss, boss, what do I do? Boss, boss, what do I do? Who do you go to? That's why it makes sense to have somebody you can go to. We've created some peer groups, mastermind groups. We're going to continue to do that. A good business coach is good, right? That's what Pete's here for. That's what I do. It's crazy. That's such a hang up for some guys. They criticize their own customers for not spending money, yet they won't invest in themselves. They're out there, you know. They think if they read a business book on audio, they've invested in themselves. And so many business books are, there's generally some good information in there, but what do you want? You want somebody who's read 100 books, or you want somebody who's had 100 successes, you know? We've learned a lot. We're in 2022. We've come a long ways. And the one thing that we've learned in the information age is that we don't know jack. But we've learned enough. Brain imaging, the scans that they can do in real time and actually measure the brain and understand how things work. For 2,500 years, we assumed that the logic was in charge and the emotional mind just got in the way, and then we know now that it's not that at all. It's the exact opposite. You can't logically convince the emotional mind. It is impossible. And the first step to success is to recognize, accept, and work with that. And once you have a process for that, oh, the whole world starts to open up to you. Pete Ramsey here, HVAC Greatness. Some things to think about. Be safe out there. And as always, need anything, give me a shout. Talk to you later.